Okay, a quick review of this garage structure and the storage possibilities and usage possibilities. This is the photo overlay from the county. This is the alley. This is Broadway. This is the garage. It appears from this overhead shot that the garage is placed right on the two property lines, right in the corner. So there's no possibility for expansion in either of those directions. I have not driven back up there now that I know that we're probably going to have to access this. I have not driven up there to see if there's room to create the kind of backout space that you might need for that ultimately. But I began getting the structure together to the extent it was needed, and then putting the cars together. I had not written down the 1980 Seville, and that was added later, or considered later, briefly. Since it's what you indicated you wanted where to start with, I tried to get the Brom, the 93 Fleetwood in here, and using available turning circle radiuses, etc. I don't think, for one thing, it fits, but it's got to go completely square in there. The back bumper touching the wall, this one almost hitting the door. So that one's pretty much out. I did experiment to see if it was even possible for a person to bring it perfectly in there. And maybe it is. You're going to be swinging into this person's property, if not their garage. And then went just to the tracking circle. Yeah, you could fit it in like that. Again, it takes almost perfect skills, though, to bring it in. So that was most likely out, and even then, the Colorado won't even fit. So that one's out. And I went to this, and the rest of this, this was, going to that, we have to widen that garage door. That garage door is only 14 foot wide now, so that has to go to at least a 16. The other one, on the other hand, it just can be a nice smaller one. I believe that's shown as a 10 there, just to give a person room. They also, I did not experiment with the turning circle of them coming into that bay now that we were going to put the rack over there, because that wasn't under consideration at the time. I'll return to that and just text you whether that seems possible. Maybe a couple quick shots. Then this was just putting together those storage racks, getting those mapped out. And this was that first look where we were going to store 5 cars in here. The Brom, the Corvair. This door is probably a 17 foot wide now, which is a custom door, and then you go to 18. Probably an engineer is going to be required anyway because it's the city of Dayton. So that's probably can be just determined. But we've moved away from this whole approach, but it had already been put together like this, and this is showing these now. We're still pretty much doing something similar to this on the first floor, and so we will need to confirm what kind of backup space, what kind of approach space we need here, and whether wall work or some other additional work is going to be required to accomplish the next alternatives. These are them in and with the racks built around them. So you have that on the second floor. This is on the first floor, the DeVille. That is actually should not say DeVille. On the first floor, you have the Fleetwood and a Corvair and the Colorado. And then on the second floor, I had those two there. Like that. After speaking with you yesterday, I developed what follows now, about 9 or 10 shots maybe, 9 or 10 looks. The Colorado here with the NSS 8 rack, single level rack around it, the Brom, and one or the other of the Corvairs. That garage door now it's showing is standard 16 feet. On the second floor, then, at the second level, you have this sort of an arrangement. and probably these stairs, because you're not going to be able to get around here safely. Probably those stairs will have to be some modification. I think it might just be a stairs up, a platform, and then you step right up into the room. But that has to be investigated. And then this is the side view. I don't know why this car wants to show all the triangles. That is the model. It looks like it needs to come forward a little bit. Well, it's clearing the garage door here. And this is the wall on this side of it. So with this arrangement, you've got the Colorado, the Fleetwood, one or the other Corvairs back there, and the second Corvair up here, or the 80 Cadillac up here. That's right. That's what we were supposed to show up there. So some of this going forward is going to be a little bit of an error, but I'm sure that the 80 Cadillac will translate. At the second floor, whether you put a little platform over here for additional storage, that's what's shown here. If you wanted to, there's the antenna of the Corvair. Now, I will come back and interject what those dimensions are with the 80 Cadillac here. This is really a lapse. In any case, that second floor room, at the corners, at the edges, it's going to be 5 foot, and then whatever it is at the top, which is pretty substantial. I did not check the pitches of those roofs. There is available a triple stacker, but this setup here could be had, I think, for about $2,500, whereas the triple stacker, and that would get 5 cars in there, still maintain this storage space here. If that's the 80 Cadillac, or I guess the 80 Cadillac is probably in the middle here. I'm sure it would fit. But this structure here would add about $10,000 to the cost of that hardware. This is about a $13,000 setup here from this side with the triple stacker. And finally, this is cut through the center of that room, art studio, or whatever usage that's going to be. It's important to note that probably we're going to have to, if we're going to use that for anything other than its existing use, which was presumably light storage, we're going to have to increase the members, the floor members, from the 2x6s that I believe they currently are to 2x12s to meet code on that. Looking from this side, then this is cut through the center of that room at the ridge. I'm not sure exactly where the flat part of the ceiling would come through here, but there is room for skylights here. Presumably this wall on this end goes up to keep this insulated, this space up here insulated. And that should do it. I will just add on to the end of the film here the dimensional differences with that 80 Cadillac in place of this Corvair here on rack 2. So I checked those dimensions. The Cadillac about 25 inches longer, 3 inches on each side tops, and 3 inches higher, and went back and definitely made sure that it fit on the second rack. As you can see here, where I've just stretched out that Corvair to be a Cadillac. So thanks, and let me know where you want to go with this next.